Hey everyone, and welcome back. Now today I wanted to do a quick overview of the Kaspa ecosystem, primarily KRC-20s, just because they have officially launched, and so we've started to see some action kind of within that ecosystem. And so I want to dive into the data a little bit further and see kind of, where are we at, in the Kaspa like KRC-20 ecosystem. Is it doing well? Is it not? Kind of what can we find if we go there? Things like that. So anyway, let's go on ahead and dive right in. Now, starting out, what we can see is just on the overall market, it's a pretty mixed day today. Obviously, we've got, a couple of pretty big greens here and there. And then we also have, some minor reds around. We can see Kaspa up here actually down to 2.7% on the day. So Kaspa lagging a little bit compared to what the rest of the market has been doing. However, if we go and look at the Kaspa chart, what we can see over time, we did bounce off of this kind of lower trend line or this lower level of support, and then have kind of moved up towards the upper level. And then we can see kind of on the smaller, these are daily candles, by the way, but what we can see kind of on the smaller time frame, probably within the past about week or so, Kaspa price has kind of been consolidating towards the upper end of this channel that we've been trading in, basically ever since like the beginning of June. Obviously, we saw kind of a momentary breakout here, a momentary breakout here, and then obviously a couple momentary wicks outside of the bottom here. But ultimately, it's been pretty, kind of consistent within this channel almost the whole time. So that's just something that I wanted to kind of look at with this consolidation in price. I don't know that this means anything too special. I mean, obviously, it'd be great if we broke out. If we did break out, obviously we'd run very quickly into this level of resistance, and then past that, probably in this range would maybe be where we'd expect to top out, and then, potentially come back into this range. It is hard to say, just kind of given the state of the market, but ultimately I think this could be kind of what we're looking at. Ultimately, as you can see, I do basically all my charting on Margex. If you are interested in leverage trading, Margex is a great place to do it. I do all of my charting just so it makes it easier for me when I'm getting in and out of trades. As I've mentioned, I have been trading kind of on and off over the past little while. I primarily only trade Bitcoin just because, one, you can do higher amounts of leverage, and therefore you're kind of risking less collateral that way. But also, I tend to understand the Bitcoin chart a little bit better. Also, since we kind of are still mainly dictated by the price movement of Bitcoin, I feel it's easier to just trade the real thing rather than some derivative, which may move a little bit out of sync with Bitcoin, but ultimately will kind of follow the macro trend. So if you are interested, I do have a referral link in the description below. Margex is doing up to $10,000 of deposit bonuses, as well as we are rounding out kind of the end of the $500,000 KASPA airdrop that they have been doing for the month of September so far. So if you are interested, go ahead and get signed up. As I say, leverage trading is definitely not without its risks. So if you do decide to do it, just make sure that you're being careful and responsible. Kind of dip your toes in kind of before you dive in head first, I would say. Anyway, moving on, I wanted to look at the hash rate of Kaspa, because what we have seen, this is basically just over about a year's worth of data. And what we've seen is, we were at 0.01 exahashes just over a year ago, and now we're sitting at 1.07 exahashes, so basically 107x in less or just over a year, I guess we should say. Like, that's some absolutely insane growth coming over the past year or so. And so, obviously Kaspa is or has taken off quite dramatically, especially when we were looking particularly at this point in time. This is when the profitability on Kaspa mining here, and probably here as well, was just absolutely monumental. And that's why we kind of saw this kind of parabolic growth in the mining rate, just because obviously there were tons of people posting about all the money they were making on Kaspa in this range, right? And so right now, obviously, these lines have kind of crossed. That doesn't mean anything, just because these are kind of arbitrarily mapped on top of each other. But this is just basically just goes to show that the increase in hash rate has not at all kept up with the increase in price, which is why the profitability on Kaspa miners right now is starting to take a little bit of a hit. KRC-20s may do something to help that, just because they are contributing to fees in the network. And so what we can see on Kasplex is they actually have kind of like a quick overview of kind of things at a glance and how things are looking overall so far. And what we can see here is that, obviously gas fees are 27 million Kaspa so far, almost 19 million transactions with 452 tokens deployed. So a pretty decent amount of action on Kaspa so far. Obviously, this is like absolutely nothing compared to what we see on Solana. I'm sure they get this many tokens deployed probably every 15 minutes or so. I mean, I feel like there's some new dog cat combination meme coin something being created every 5 seconds on Solana. So anyway, but overall, as far as a brand new ecosystem on relatively unproven technology, I would say this is pretty good so far. What we do have is we kind of have some preliminary analytics of some of the top coins on Kaspa so far. So what we can see is that the total KRC market cap, and let me get actually the time at which this was posted. So this was posted about 17 minutes ago. So very, I would say, recent up-to-date data. And what we can see is, the total market cap is about $83 million, with a vast majority of this, almost was 75% of the market cap being NACHO, which is, it looks like some cat meme coin that they're doing. Obviously, Kasper's the one following, and then we have some of these others kind of making up some of the difference. But, as we can see here, this is tiny. This is very, very tiny, right? I'm not sure if any of you were around in like the Bitcoin ordinals ecosystem when runes came out at the time of the halving back in April or so. If you have, obviously things are not looking super great so far, just because we have seen a lot of like struggles within the ordinals ecosystem, and particularly runes. They haven't taken off as much as people were kind of, I think, expecting them to. And this just, at least in my opinion, goes to show kind of the stranglehold that Solana has on meme coins, at least so far. You could throw ETH in there as well. Ethereum does actually have all of the biggest meme coins, but at least so far in terms of like high growth, explosive meme coins, Solana has that stranglehold still. And so, obviously what we can see from this chart is, $83 million is definitely isn't nothing. Like, I'd say that's great growth over the past couple of, I guess it was like less than a week at this point, or maybe just about a week. So definitely not bad, but ultimately, one of the major issues that we have to remember is, rising tides lifts all boats, right? And so if $83 million is what KRCs kind of top at for a little while, people might be trying to move from NACHO to some other, coin or meme coin or whatever that comes out on Kaspa. And ultimately, it's just going to be like PvP, right? Nobody's going to make insane gains because more money is not coming into the ecosystem. And ultimately, KRCs were meant to be more than this, in my opinion, right? Obviously, we're waiting to see some dApps, some utility, some things that actually add value to the ecosystem come in. And I think that kind of, by definition, will bring more users. You look at Solana, you had Pump.Fun, you've got, Radium, you've got Jupiter. Like, you have a lot of these types of services built into like the Solana infrastructure that help you gamble your money away on meme coins, right? Kaspa doesn't necessarily have a lot of this yet, and so I think we're going to see potentially the growth of Kaspa and KRC not necessarily struggle, but maybe lag or not perform as well as it could with some of this like fundamental infrastructure that we could be seeing on Kaspa before we, or I guess in order to branch out of meme coins. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. If it's not already very obvious to you due to the lack of talking about them on my channel, I tend to kind of stay away from meme coins. I did the whole Doge thing back in 2021 or whatever that is, and did relatively well for myself, but that I think was kind of the only interaction that I needed to kind of prove that, I mean, it might as well go buy a lottery ticket. They're about the same if you ask me. Obviously, I do know that there are people who consistently do quite well on meme coins. I've actually met several of them, but my brain just does not work that way. And so, as I mentioned before on the channel, of course, this is not financial advice. And part of the reason none of this is financial advice is because everybody has their own financial situations. Everybody has their own specific set of facts and circumstances that they're working within. And that obviously changes for everybody, right? And so it's very, very difficult to say, oh yeah, go buy this meme coin, because you don't know why I like it. You don't know why I bought it, when I'm going to sell it, any of this type of stuff. Same thing with various other things. And so ultimately, hopefully when you're listening to the things I talk about on the channel, you're understanding that I have my own reasons for why I may like them, and that may not line up with your investment strategy. If your investment strategy is to buy blue chip cryptos and hold them for a 50% return over the next 3 years, but also have it be very unlikely that you're going to lose all your money, well, that's an entirely different investing strategy than me going and buying $50 million market cap coins, knowing that 49 of them are going to go to zero, but the one is going to 100x, 1000x, whatever, right? Those are two entirely different investing strategies. And if you do both halfway, you're going to lose on both. So hopefully that is a good reminder to kind of keep perspective in terms of how to hopefully most successfully navigate the crypto space. And if the information that I provided in this video was useful, please do give me a like and subscribe. I am still trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It's, I think, definitely going to be a tall task, but I think I can do it. And obviously with your help, it really makes things a lot easier and more attainable for me. So if that is something that you'd be willing to do, I do really appreciate the like and subscribe. Also, if you do want to talk to me, questions, comments, concerns, feedback, whatever, I do appreciate hearing all of it. And so, the comment section is a really great way to do that. So, obviously I do read and respond to all of my comments. So if you have anything that you want to talk to me about, I will be responding in the comments. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.